Hello, we are Shotgun The Aux. We're back.
With bird noises.
With bird noises, yeah. Hello, this is episode 11.
Wow, man.
We've made it to episode 11, which is pretty mad considering like it's just started with a sort of a pipe dream. Well, not really a pipe dream, it was more like...
I love how you get really philosophical at the beginning of these episodes.
Well,
I
yeah,
quite like
you know,
it.
we've had some... I think we've come a long way, man. We've had some good times, some bad times, some fallouts. You know, we've had the WhatsApp chat going. There's been a few moans and groans. But all in all, you know, we've grown closer. We've grown a bond together. This evening we're
what the fuck's happening?
We're going out tonight for a few drinks.
Podcast party tonight.
Podcast.
So where are we off to tonight then?
So we're off to Eden in Bournemouth to see Verb T and Lewis Parker, supported by. Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
Well, we don't want to spoil it yet. We got a special guest lined up today.
We do have a special guest.
But before we get to that, obviously we're out heading out for a few beers tonight, a few jars, for good night hip hop music hopefully. What have you guys been listening to? What have you been up to?
What have we been up to? Where do you want to start, Aiden?
Well, Dave's new album's come out.
Yes.
Came out today. I haven't listened to it all yet, but listened to one of the songs. And
who is Dave?
Sorry?
Who is Dave?
He's just a bloke we met down the pub.
Mate, you do a hip hop podcast.
No, I know, but I'm just making sure that you know, mate.
Yes,
Context is
Dave.
everything.
So David's a hip hop artist from South London. You know, quite people will know him through. I think he's like pretty bigged up through Drake and that. If you know him for those channels, but yeah, really good hip hop artist, really good lyricist and storyteller. Yeah, I really big him up, and today his album Psychodrama came out. It's a 11 track album, featuring, you know, some good features from J Huss and other artists. But I want to put on the track called Leslie. This is an 11-minute long song. Leslie. I'm not gonna like ruin the story.
We're gonna insert the whole 11 minutes after.
No. Well, copyright reasons, we can only do the 10 seconds or whatever it is.
Probably not the only reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole album as a whole is really good. You know, he's really good at kind of like painting a picture in his lyrics. But the song Leslie, really good storytelling to it, and I recommend, you know, that being like the track of the album. I know it's a lot to commit to 11 minutes, but yeah, definitely worth it. But
well,
yeah,
he's a talented guy, man. So it's,
he is, yeah, 100%.
There's some good songs, especially like his first album that he put out. You know, he's a very quite political rapper.
He is, yeah.
Also very poetic.
To be honest,
very soulful.
To be honest, before you boys started talking about him on the podcast, and I saw like a few videos of him on YouTube. I hadn't really like explored into much of his stuff, but yeah, I really rated the first few tracks of the album I heard today. I thought it was really good. Really
the
like
SBD TV video,
yeah,
man. It's fucking
really like introspective and a lot more kind of
He's like spoken word, spoken word artist, but
it was a lot deeper than I thought it would be.
Yeah. But yeah, big up the album. Really like the artwork as well. That kind of like blue flame on the face, like yeah.
Mad, isn't it? What else? What have you been listening? What have you been up to, Tom? Because I know there's a lot of wedding planning going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you have time to listen to hip hop anymore? Or is it?
I
Me and Tom visited
you have to make time for it. Yeah. So me and Jake went to Devon this weekend with
just me and him.
Just me and Jake. Romantic getaway night. So my fiance is from Devon, so we went back there because her and Jake's missus are mates, and they went like bridesmaids dress shopping. Nah, sorry mate, you're not part of the Fab Four, whatever the fuck we go by. And so me and Jake just made ourselves scarce and went to watch the North London Derby and had a few beers in a day. But yeah,
I might even start my own podcast.
It's good fun, man.
But you can do a birdsong podcast.
Birdsong.
Yeah, just like a little chirp.
I'll do Bluetooth the Aux.
But
modern day,
so,
controversial.
So obviously we got to touch upon like the passing of a legend that was Keith Flint this week.
Man.
That news came through. Really tragic, obviously. It's under the circumstances in which he died. It is terrible, man. And I mean, growing up in the 90s, everyone owned Fat the Land. It was an absolutely fucking classic album. I was a little bit
like clear as day. I was 3
I was a little bit too young for like music for the Jilted generation, but I remember when Firestarter and Breathe came out from Fat of the Land, man. That was like Keith Flint was just a force to be reckoned with.
So at the time, Smack My Bitch Up was like a real
Same
kind
album.
of the song itself was like really kind of was it controversial at the time?
Yeah, but then Liam Howlett's defense was it was like it's just a vibe. It wasn't actually referring to like domestic violence against women or anything like that. But it's a fucking song, so get over it. But anyway, yeah, it was really.
Maybe I'm just asking a question.
No, not you, man. I'm just saying like that's kind of how it was perceived at the time. I wasn't.
No, it was Aiden. It was him.
Okay.
Fuck you, Jenny.
But yeah, really sad. And also, I guess what's in the zeitgeist this week? The Michael Jackson documentary.
Right, so I haven't seen it. I know you guys have probably seen it.
No, I kind of missed it, man. I mean, I caught a bit of the second episode, but yeah, it was.
So I started watching it, but Emily's mum watched the whole thing and kind of filled me in the other night. I can't really start laughing.
Sorry, right, let's not go there. But yeah.
But anyway, it was like from what kind of it was said was it's not just like Michael Jackson molested me.
How do you find that?
But shut up. Like it was really graphic and kind of some of the details these like lads were going into like when they were younger lads, like real graphic details. But I don't know how to perceive it. It's all just kind of like come at a time with the whole R. Kelly thing. It's just come at a.
It's weird though because like
time.
as long as I've been alive, like Michael Jackson and pedo jokes have gone hand in hand. So it's like it's nothing new. It's just like
never sort of it's
just 10 years later
taken seriously.
But that's the thing. It's obviously
and
a big
once again
topic.
on Shotgun The Aux, we're talking about paedophiles. But no, do you know what, right, mate? And I think, it's a very weird sort of subject because obviously there's this talk about, he's a fucking fantastic musician, but then there's also this talk about.
Well, he's an icon, isn't he?
Well, it just goes back to our original subject.
He was the first black artist on MTV. He's he's a cultural phenomenon. He's not just like.
So what would you still listen to his music now?
Yeah, because I know how to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, and it goes back to the original question. I
will still watch American Beauty with fucking Kevin Spacey and Seven with Kevin Spacey because they're good films.
What pisses me off is that The Simpsons came out and said they're never going to air the Michael Jackson episode again where it's Lisa's birthday, and that pisses me off.
But as in principle, we are in a generation at the moment where it's just ban everything.
Yeah,
like ban.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
No, he's regardless whether or not, there's some evil people throughout the years that have done really outlandish shit, but they've still made amazing art. But I think that's for an entirely different podcast.
Yeah.
On that note though, because we are out tonight, we've got a very special guest with us and we're going to introduce in a minute. Should we get on with this?
Yeah, how are we getting there tonight? Just to check.
We'll sort it, mate.
I've got a helicopter.
Yeah, we put the chopper.
Yeah, Shotgun The Aux blew up, man.
Chop of the Aux.
Yeah, Chop of the Aux. Can I just say, on the last podcast, or maybe the one before, we referenced that Dirty John. Have you watched it yet? Have you finished it yet?
Yeah, I finished it.
Aiden, have you even started it?
No.
Oh,
I can't say I have. I've been watching that Alan Partridge.
Yeah, man. The second episode was. Did you watch John Baskel?
It was so funny. The bit when he was going through the war scene. It's just like you're watching that and it's just like
the facial expressions and like
it's just like how do they come up with this? And
it's very clever, right?
But
So man, Alan Partridge is always amazing. But so we've got a special guest lined up today. We're going to get into one of his tracks in a moment, and then right, fuck it, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Which brings us on to today's guest. Cosm, welcome to the podcast, man. How you doing?
Chilling, mate. You alright?
Yeah, not too bad. So, you're performing tonight at the Lewis Parker gig in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Really, mate. D-Tape just messaged me. I know, but I actually can't remember. I literally can't remember. It was a while ago. It was a little while ago. But the thing is, I know so many people from around here. So, I think I'm always in the head, so if they ask if there's a gig coming up, if they ask if, do you want to support and stuff, they just give me a shout. And then I'm usually always there, so.
Nice one, man.
Yeah.
Nice one. And so, talking about supporting various artists over the years, so any kind of proud moments?
Wu Tang?
Wu Tang, man. I was at that gig.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in Boscombe, yeah.
That's insane. So you supported Wu Tang.
Yeah.
I know.
So what
That doesn't make sense.
So how did you even get involved in that?
Yeah, what happened? Like, what was the whole build up to that?
So there was conversations had with Cy from Beeline Records, from Beeline Records, and I've known Cy for a little while. We used to go around. My DJs from the Olympic Chimps, unknown or Seamless or whatever we call it. But
And the Olympic Chimps were your crew from back in the day, yeah?
That's the little crew from back in the day. We used to go around Tom's house, and Cy used to go around there. And we used to just chat and drink and just do this, that, and the other. So I know Cy for a little while, and then Cy's been doing this thing with his label. And then, we'd be seeing each other here and there and doing this, that and the other. But then there was a call up for that gig, and I was just like, alright, but cool, I'm on it. But what gassed me up was it was even better because before that was the Public Enemy gig. And everybody was doing the Public Enemy gig, and I was like, why ain't I doing the Public Enemy? So I'm like, okay.
It's a good compromise though, man.
But then that's the thing, the Wu Tang turn up, and I was gassed. When I first heard about it, I was just like, I was over the moon. Like, I got a text message on the way to see the 3D scan from my daughter, and the text message came through, and I was like jumping around in the car going, what the fuck, like that, and I'm going, babe, look. She goes, so Rob, you're about to see your daughter. Like, you should be more concerned about it. I'm like, look, I'm going to support Wu Tang. Chill out, but yeah. So that's like, he just put me on, really, just hooked me up and put me on, just respected what I did, and then it just put me on.
That's it, man. Did you get to meet him backstage? Or were they quite...
Yeah, this is the thing. We spoke about this in the car. It's weird, it's like, they locked it down, the management kind of locks it down when they're, because they're so big, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they lock it down. We met them kind of, and they were both by accident. It was completely by freak accident. Like, I was with the Shout the Monkeys people, like I said, that's like Rayman and Moo and Cornell as well. And they went out for a rollie at the back of the Opera House, right? And literally, the van pulled up as we're outside, and they all kind of come in and was like, well, imagine all standing on the wall like this, just talking, and then you can just see the people that you've been seeing for all your life, right? And you're just like, oh shit! I'm like, what the fuck? And they're just going past you like that. It's not the full squad, but it's most of them, and we're like, the fuck just happened? And I was like, okay, cool. So we managed to see them then, but like, in a sense of, after that, they locked down the whole stage. Like, we were allowed backstage, all had the backstage passes, we weren't allowed backstage when they were on the stage. Everybody had to be off. Like, it was just like, we weren't allowed.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I did my set, and it was good, and this, that, and the other.
Who was the dude you did your set with? Because it was two of you on
It
the
was
set.
Rayman.
Rayman.
Yeah, Rayman did it. Jabba the Cup was on the turntables, he was spinning the record. With Sai as well, actually, with Specific. And then, so they kicked us off the stage, and then Wu Tang did their thing, it was good. And then I left something on the stage. It was random, I left something on the stage. And so I went back up, Jabba the Cup was getting his stuff back, and I went back up, and I managed to turn around, I bumped into someone basically, and I looked up and it was Master Killer. And I was like, oh shit! So I turned around, shook his hand, and I just picked him up or whatever, and it left. But he was coming backstage as well. He was coming backstage, on the stage to grab something too, so it was fate.
Oh mate, that is fucking dope, man. So, who would you say, if you had to pick, was your favourite from Wu?
That's a
or
hard
does it
question.
does it like oscillate between?
Nah, it's not hard really. It's not hard. The thing is, okay, well,
depend on the day.
Nah, not depend on the day. Like, when I was younger, I used to really rate You God. I used to really like You God.
Underrated.
I used to like him. I used to like him on that Killer Hill tune he did on the Temples of Boom album with Cypress Hill.
Mm-hmm.
His verse on that was sick, and then the verses that he did on the Iron Man album were good. Was he on Black Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that verse on there. But then now, I think Method Man's the most consistent.
Yeah, he's probably got the most like charisma.
Yeah, because he's come back a lot recently, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's supported like a lot of UK artists, which I think is really cool.
He was on Notion Wisdom's album.
Yeah.
So he's up there, but it's like, I think Ray is probably the best out of the lot. Ray is the favourite, I think. And Ray kind of built an empire of MCs around him, and listen to like young people that would listen to him, and he built like an army of rappers behind him, unintentionally.
See, man, for me it always kind of fluctuated. I was a big fan of Juzza, just because he was more like cerebral, and I love like Liquid Swords, man.
Liquid Swords,
It's just such a sick album. Like the use of samples in the album is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of gravitate probably more towards Method Man, just because he's got that kind of like he has got the charisma, right? But then in the early Wu stuff, it's probably Inspector Deck, just because of how he came in.
Do you know? I think everyone's view of Deck would have been a lot different had that studio not flooded. Do you know what I mean? You heard that story?
No, man. Elaborate. This is interesting.
Riz's basement got flooded. They had the demos and the what's the word? The masters of Inspector Deck's album, because that was meant to come out when all the albums come out, and the basement flooded and it fucked everything in the basement.
Damn.
And he lost his album.
Shit.
So that was that. And then his first album that he did on his own was Uncontrolled Substance or Controlled. What was it called? Is that it? Anyway, Control, and that was in like 97, 98 or something. I can't remember. I remember the advert in the Source where he's jumping over a police car, and the tune was Wreck. Wreck, wait, that was on Westwood. It was sick. Rec Room, that was it. Rec Room. I remember the tune. But yeah, that I think everyone's perspective on Deck would have been different.
Yeah.
Had he dropped that thing.
So going back to yourself, man. Like, how did you get into the scene? How did you get into rapping? Because listen to your stuff earlier, man. Like the album with Serge, Scraps from the King's Table.
Yeah.
It's really introspective. Like the lyrics are fucking layered. The production on that is trippy as fuck as well. But you're all about kind of like punchlines and bars, really. How did you first get a knack for it? When did you first realise this is something I'm good at? I want to pursue it.
It was different. I wasn't always going to be a rapper. That wasn't always going to be me type thing. Like I got into hip hop. Like I'm a hip hop guy.
Yeah.
Like so. It's not really a case of being snared into rap, but rap was. I knew. Thing is, I noticed what was around me. Do you know what I mean? As a young child, as a young person. So like when I was younger, we used to see sort of like all the breakdancers, on TV, right? And we see the breakdancers on TV on Top of the Pops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Later on, I'd meet those breakdancers because they're from around here, innit? That's second to none, innit? That's like they're world champion b-boys and they're from Bournemouth. And I ended up getting to know them when I was older. I didn't know that then, but so I saw them as a young person, seeing them. Being a rugby player when I was a kid, I used to drive everywhere to rugby games and stuff, right? And I used to see tags everywhere, and I used to recognise these tags, and I used to always see Boa up. And so I knew that the graffiti was out there, so I'd be interested because I could draw myself as a young person. I can still draw now.
Yeah.
So that kind of interested. I always thought, like, what is it? What is this thing that's always floating around? Like I see the graffiti, see the break dancers, hear the music, and knowing that I'm not allowed to listen to it because at that point in time, you're not allowed to listen to that type of music because you're too young.
And the establishment.
Yeah, especially when you're like 9 years old or something, and your mate gives your dad How to Just Kill a Man to put on by Cypress Hill on a tape to play in the car, and then they drop that fuck it bar, and then your dad turns it off and goes back.
It's interesting because that's like the pillars of hip hop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the dance,
yeah. So
the art as well.
Yeah. So I was all just exposed to that. The thing is, I always knew that like rap music or hip hop or whatever was always our thing. Like it was always sort of like our generation's thing. So it was like, yeah, you guys could listen to rock music, but it doesn't bother me. The first music I really listened to was my dad's music that he listened to, and he's not like a super cool, funky guy. Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't listen to like cool music or anything impressive.
It's just subjective, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah, when I was listening to I listened to his like Hendrix tapes and Sabbath tapes and stuff like that. But I never got into rock music. But it was just I knew that hip hop was something that was ours that I could adhere to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Did you appreciate like that those kind of genres of music that hip hop kind of like derived and took and repurposed? Because that's kind of like a fundamental of hip hop music, right?
I think that. What the amazing thing is that they came from nothing. Yeah. Just the lack of the lack of funding that those people had at that point in time, the lack of funding, the lack of social structure, and they put together their own scene out of nothing. The kids had no money for instruments because they took all the money out of those ghetto schools in New York or whatever. So the kids started looking into turntables and breaks and mixing and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how it all got started.
We talked a lot about this on episode 6. We did a sampling episode going back to Cool Herc and Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah. And then there was the rights, weren't they?
Yeah, it's just all about repurposing something, taking it and making it into something completely different. I mean, I think like hip hop just radiates creativity generally. Do you know what I mean? It's it's a movement.
Well, 100%, because it's like that sort of like when you say about like ownership, you know, it's like you don't need like a group of people. I mean, a group of people helps, but it's sort of like all you need is that those like lyrics really short, like and then you've got like a beat that goes behind it. And I think with hip hop especially, like it is sort of that ownership. And what do you think of the sort of UK hip hop scene at the moment?
Now, it depends. Like, there's a lot of people I like and a lot of people I won't listen to. Like,
I think I'm probably in the same
particular like sort of like sub-genres or...
There's no sub-genres, I don't know, a lot of people don't interest me.
Yeah.
They don't tell me also what they're talking about. There's people that stand out, and like I'm a rapper, so I listen to people, but if I think some fucking clown is gonna sound like someone else I listen to, I'm not gonna fucking listen to
I hear you, man.
Like it's not.
So do you, and I pose this question of mine, I've had this discussion with many a mate over the years, right? Do you think, like, to a certain extent, and this isn't throwing shade at anyone creating anything, but is UK hip hop stuck in the boom bap in the boom bap era to a certain extent?
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, it's where it comes from, that's what it is. But the thing is, you have to remember, like, UK hip hop wasn't just this whole boom bap thing. Like back in 03, 01 or whatever, late 90s and that, it wasn't just that. You had the road guys spitting over similar beats, and they were stuck on the same tapes, you know what I mean, as the people like Jest and Chester P and stuff like that. So they're the same type of people, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not really a subgenre, but now it's more fragmented because they've developed it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the grime guys have an identity, drill guys have an identity, but they don't want to do the boom bap stuff. But before, everyone kind of compartmentalised them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The Wretch story that Mo told as well. That made a lot of sense. D-Lux told that story. The
Harry Love one, right?
Yeah, the Harry Love one. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. Because they're music people, so they just come together. But that's that.
So yeah, man. I think obviously, like in the UK sound, there's a lot of people doing some creative stuff, but it just depends. It's not really geographical necessarily. It's just
the sound's geographical.
Yeah, no. So the sound's geographical in terms of like nuances and accents and slang and all that kind of stuff, right?
I think the country's too small. I think it's too small for that. I don't think that you can't really. If you go to London, the sound's going to be, and you're making that kind of UK hip hop sound, it's going to be similar over here and over there. You've got to be some forward-thinking person to make something different.
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to like Oh No. Yeah, like from High Focus, his music is different. But that's because of him, because he's creative.
Yeah.
But like, you listen to that, not generic, I don't want to say generic, but that general boom bap sound.
Yeah.
Then everyone tries to make that type of thing.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on like grime at the moment?
I don't listen to grime, but thing is, I can't knock grime because they're wicked. Do you know what I mean? Like, the essence of grime is good. My favourite grime MCs aren't the most lyrical, and I'm like the rapper's rapper. Like, I like D-E-E and flipping, I like, UM Generals. And,
you're a fan of him, aren't you, D-E-E?
I'm a fan of D-E-E, yeah. I like, what you said about Dave's new album came out today, was it?
Dave's dropped today, and, I'm a massive fan of him.
And he's really lyrical, isn't he? Like, storyteller.
But someone like Get is ridiculous. Like,
Gets is nuts, man.
Ridiculous. I seen him live.
He's got crazy bars.
I saw him live. We supported the Streets. Not the Streets. We supported the Mitchell Brothers at Opera House, and they turned up late. And they meaning Gets and Kano, because they were supporting the Mitchell Brothers as well. And I was a fucking drunk idiot when I was younger, and I had to go out for being late, and they just looked at me like, you're a twat. And then and I was like, yeah, you'll let her out. And then they did the set, and I couldn't believe the intensity and the passion. And it wasn't a very packed gig, but it was just the delivery. And I was like, seeing them do that day, it taught me a lot, because I just thought that they delivered the A game no matter who was there, whatever it was, and it was just the raw energy for it. And seeing it just perform that, I thought, fuck this, like that's where it is. It doesn't matter who's there, just go for it.
So going back to your own kind of journey through hip hop music, and you got through the kind of graph and the b-boy stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you first get into like writing lyrics? Because your stuff is really kind of layered.
Alright, so I don't know, how did I get into doing that? Like, I would just write. I would draw graffiti and go, doing stuff like that. I would just write on the back of my drawings, like write bars on the back of my drawings. And I used to hang around with a little graffiti crew, not like a big crew, just people that were like-minded and listen to hip hop. Like, I can still speak to those people now. Do you know what I mean? A couple of them. and they're still really big into their hip hop. But I used to spit for them, and I think they kind of looked at it a bit like, nah, like what's Rob doing? Because initially I didn't write to a fucking beat.
Yeah.
I just go, da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, yeah, alright, Rob.
No structure to the parts and stuff.
Yeah, it was just too much. And then, you know, eventually I got to a stage where I was recording it and stuff like that, but then it would be, I don't know, the no take would be the same as the other take. So it was a bit different.
That's authentic though, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that like light bulb moment when you're just like, fuck it, this is what I want to do? Or does that happen organically?
Nah, it's just a constant, it's like an addiction, like you don't stop. Like you just need to do it. It's like, okay, the next thing is going to come soon. Okay, like I'm blocked at the moment, but I know in the next couple of days or weeks I can write some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a constant. It's like a habit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is almost like a lifestyle. Like some people go gym, some people go football, some people go pubs, some people go to bookies. You
love rapping.
I just rap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I write.
Yeah.
I write. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I do. Some of it might not all come out, but some of it might. Yeah. You might like it, you might not, but. Fuck it, I think it's shit 'cause I'm writing.
So is it always sort of like rap that you write, or you do get a lot of people that enjoy writing but sometimes go towards sort of like poetry as well? Maybe
No, fuck poetry.
just rap.
No. Like I don't. Poetry's poetry. Do you know what I mean?
Do we not mention this is also a poetry podcast?
Yeah, fuck them guys.
Poetry scene in Bournemouth is banging, man.
Like I think poetry has its place and stuff, and it obviously hip hop has its place too. But
what was it we were saying? Like Wilfred Owen and Bassoon, or whatever, having a fucking rap battle. Anyway, sorry, man.
I didn't even know these fucking. But yeah, so yeah, on the lyrical side of things, I don't know. I was just turned on from rappers from that era. So you have to understand that everybody has their Chester influences, everyone has their Chester P influences and stuff, but then you have like US underground people like demigods and stuff like that.
Apathy, man.
Apathy and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I heard Apathy first time on an X-rated tape from back in the day, and I was just like, I didn't even know I didn't even care what he looked like. I was just like,
I was showing Aiden some demigods and Apathy earlier, man. You know that self-titled and Buckwild album that he did? What's the fucking...
I was trying to jack that for years. I was trying to find the beats to fucking put on mixtapes for years.
It's ridiculous, man. But yeah, Apathy's like, he's so real as well. Like he's like a fucking like a estate agent or something now.
Yeah.
Right over there. I've been listening to him for a long time, man. And he's got crazy lyrics. Got that New England twang as well. Yeah, Honky Kong, man, that was a sick album.
I never heard it.
Did you not?
I've seen the cover and stuff, but I might have flicked through a couple of the cruise tracks maybe, I don't know.
And then, what was the, I can't remember what it was called, but it had like a snake on the cover. Had like, I'm a Demigod on it.
Do you want to snuggle?
Do you want to snuggle, man? Yeah, Candy and all those fucking sick tracks, man. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Apathy, self-titled.
What do you think of like the more mainstream commercial hip hop as well?
What's that?
Like, just saying, like your Kanye's or your people that are more in the
like I don't know
in the public eye.
in the public eye.
Give me some more names. Like I don't. Hey, go on, give me some more names.
Like,
go think of some.
Eminem, like older Eminem back in the day, like you know you're
talking that like
not now more like your Marshall Mathers LP, some Shady LP, like more to like when you first started off.
Like Eminem had his place, and I think everybody who is, you know, white has an influence of Eminem. Do you know what I mean? I think, and they probably go back to my influence of getting into rap. Right, that would be one of the leg up, but it's not. And that's by proxy as well. It's not
get you, man.
Right. I always listen to other white rappers.
MC Search.
No. Well, yeah.
That track he did with Nas was pretty sick though.
Of course, right. But you know, I was into like non-fiction and fucking
Ill Bill
and Necro and stuff like that. So
Necro always likes our shit, man. I keep telling you.
But I'm saying that, so I listen to those white rappers, but
it's more like horrorcore kind of stuff, isn't it? Like,
I think that
Necro was fucking horrorcore.
Of course, 100%. But like non-fiction. That the Green CD and the Future Is Now and stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Black Helicopters, man. And we had Primo on that album.
That's a wicked album. It's Pete Rock, Primo, MF Doom. Who else was on it? Who else was on the album?
Who's that?
Oh no, non-fiction. Who else was on the producer?
Oh, you're testing me.
Come on, man. But yeah, so I was listening to them, right? But so that was that. But yeah, so how I got into it was they was doing. So I was writing these shitty raps on shitty pieces of paper that everyone thought was shit. And then there was battles in town. right? And I knew someone, DS, right? DS was always battling, right? I don't know if you know DS from
No man,
right?
who is it?
So DS is a guy he's originally from London. He lived in Highcliffe. Then he went to LA, and then he came back here, and then he made music. And then if you Google him, or if you go onto YouTube, sorry, if you go onto YouTube, there's a Fire FM freestyle with me, Sir Mike, and DS, and that's always to run with anyway. So DS was the guy who used to battle, and
Who was that again? Sorry.
So what the freestyle?
Yeah.
That was Sir Mike, DS.
Sir Mike.
Yeah, DS, DIAS, and then myself. And it's on Fire FM. So that's in Bournemouth. That was in town. So is it not on the? That's a bit embarrassing. Right?
It's alright.
It's on there. It's on there.
We trust you.
It's on there.
It's probably a good thing that's proper on the ground, isn't it?
So anyway, he would battle, and they put these battles on in town, and they were inspired by the 8 Mile thing. That was the whole thing on the flyers, and they were we got 8 Mile bollocks, right? So I like rap, so I turned up anyway, right? So Pete says, I'm battling, alright, cool. So we went to watch, and it was in Cagney's in town, and Cagney's is on Westover Road, like underneath the casino. I don't know what it is now, right? But it's a little shitty basement. And then they did the first round, watched it, cool. And then by the second round, no one was there. Like then one person dropped out, right? One person dropped out, and they like, the organizer came out, JB, who I know quite well now, well, to a degree. Said, is there any rappers in the building? Like any more rappers in the building? And DS has gone. Yeah. No, that's the Road Vibe one. No. Wait, where is it? Let me find this. I will find this for you.
Yeah.
And
it's a make a mental note, man.
I will find it.
We'll get that.
Oh no, is that one there?
That's the one. That's the one where I break the headphones. That's the legendary freestyle. I'll tell you about that later.
The Diaz, Mike, and Cosm Fire FM freestyle. DJ Fresh.
We'll have to put a little snippet in the edit as well.
Yeah, that's the one that inspired other people, which I didn't know about. I'll tell you about that in a bit. Went down to the thing and said, any more MCs? I was like, yeah, cool. So I had to do it. Like, because, in a room full of people, they said, there's the MC, do you want to do it? I'm like, fuck no, but I have to play the pressure. And I have to do it anyway. So I was like, alright, cool. So I rapped against this, I think it was like a garage MC or something like that.
Yeah.
And I may have busted a written bar, I may have did a freestyle, I can't remember. But I beat the geezer, right? I beat him. And that was that.
Do you remember it, or was it a blur now?
It's a blur now.
Yeah.
But I remember the second battle because he got in my face, so I pushed him.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I pushed him. But he was only getting in my face for the sport of the battle.
It's unprofessional.
But at that age, I was a bit more
wild,
tightly strung in it, so I pushed him. And then, I got split up, and he lost the battle anyway. Cool. So at the end of that, it was like finals time, and I'd been out of the thing. When I came back downstairs, and like, Rob, you in the final. Alright, cool. Who are you facing? And it was like, and I ended up facing Diaz in the final. And that's my mate, innit? Like, I know Pete. I'm cool with Pete. So I'm like, shit. Do you know what I mean? So I've got to like rhyme against Pete. So I literally said something about where he was from, and I said something about, I took the piss out of his name, saying Diaz, you get fucked in Diaz or something like that. That's what I said. People thought it was funny and shit, but like
it is fucking funny.
But it took away from that. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just like, oh shit, I don't know what to say now. That was it. And then he got the mic and then he floored me, and that was it. But that's how I came into the battle and everything.
Nice one, man.
So
battling was kind of your precursor to actually like recording music then, or
the precursor. It was something that made me better.
It happened in conjunction then. It happened at the same time. Oh, right.
So like I didn't have any programs at home, instrumentals at home, and I used to just rap over them and listen to myself back. And then it was like, alright, cool. And then get better and better and better by practicing and listening to myself back. And then I got better, and I learned the music and I learned the bar structure by freestyling, by learning how to talk. Because a lot of rappers, they don't know bar structure. They don't know how to count to 4. Like they don't know it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And
did you look to any kind of like legends to kind of harness that? Like Rakim, for example, he's kind of like really known for that structure that he puts into his head. Did you just figure it out on your own?
I figured it out by accident. Living in, I wasn't on holiday, but I was staying with my uncle in Cyprus, and I was writing, and I caught the flow of a jest verse, and it was just the way it kind of hits, just the way the one over turn and drift the fucking tune. I caught the rhythm of it, and I was like, oh shit, that's how you do it. And then it just kind of
clicked.
But yeah, it kind of clicked, because when you freestyle and you talk, you do it anyway. But then when you're writing it, you sometimes don't get that moment of clarity where you can kind of piece it together and make it perfect. Then it clicked, and I got it. But yeah, so the battling side of things helped me with the punches.
Yeah.
Helped me with understanding how to place it along the beat.
So when you sorry, go.
I was just going to say, do you think there's much of a battle scene at the moment
Where?
in the UK at all? The only sort of, I call me like quite narrow-minded for this, but the only sort of battle scene I know is Don't Flop, and that's sort of like quite a long, sort of semi-retired now from what I've heard. It had its heyday, and then there was a bit of beef with Herb not sort of paying people from what I heard, and then it sort of went down. And I think, because my friend was telling me about, there was a few other sort of channels that spiked up from that.
With the one, Mickey Worthless one.
Oh yeah, I saw those
He
ones.
did that one. I don't know, to be honest, because I didn't keep. I used to watch Don't Flop all the time.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew of a lot of artists. That battle scene helped you kind of give you even more of an insight into people from further afield in the country, innit? You get to see people like Dialect, and you get to see people like Joker Star, who's from up the road, and G's Mate and stuff like that, who's on Iron Statue, do you know what I mean?
Nice man.
So, you get to see these types of people, but for me, I don't know if there's really a battle scene going on. I like watching it, and offered me to go on. And I think he was just being inclusive, trying to get people to go on, which is cool. Like, I'm not saying he's trying to rake me to get them on the way. But like, I'm not. I was just saying, he just wanted people.
That got dark fucking quickly, didn't it?
And I said rape. I said raped. Fucking hell. No, I'm saying he didn't rape me. No, but I'm saying he just wanted me on the channel. I didn't. To me, it just seems like a fucking pointless exercise to me, because it's a lot of hard work. Writing is a hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah.
So when you go and write a track, we're saying on the car on the way up, we're talking about how long does it take to make a song, right? And you need at least a couple of days, or sometimes you can bang it out in an afternoon. But then so it's a time-consuming process. But when you're honing a verse, there's a battle verse that are going to be fucking long, so that takes a while. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a lot of effort that's gone.
Yeah.
And it's gone in a split second, and people aren't really they're going to watch the videos again, but it's not like a timeless piece of music that someone's going to live their life to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I think. That's what I thought that's what I'd rather do.
I guess as well, because we discussed it briefly over text and stuff. Where you say you memorise your entire set as well, so there's that aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
So obviously the writing part is a challenge in itself, but then memorising the whole.
That's
not just a song, but a fucking set list.
It's the worst.
How do you do it, man? Any tips? Not that I can do it.
No, we're about to jump on.
What do you do?
I recently worked it out. There's methods to it. Like, one of the best things you can do is write your bars and learn it when they're fresh, because they're in your head. That's one of the first things. Another thing, if you're coming back to something, is try and learn it in blocks. When you're learning your 16s, like learn the first 4, second, third, fourth, learn it in a block, and then try and use the ends of the 4s to roll in, so you remember what's after the next. And like it kind of. So I'd say, for example, if I didn't know one of the verses off one of the tunes we're doing tonight, I'd start with the first 4, and I'd literally have my hands in front of me. I'll pull up a Jay-Z instrumental, because that was the first thing that came up on SoundCloud. Because I wouldn't do it at G's beat, I would literally just try and get the flow of the beat, or try and get a feel for the beat. And I'd say the first 4 once, twice, until it went to the end of my hand. I did it 10 times or something, and then it's in there.
Damn, man.
And then it just go down and down and down, and then it's a bit time consuming, but and the thing is, sometimes you don't have to go to 10. Sometimes you can just do 5, 6, whatever, but then it clicks in.
Yeah, man.
So, I don't know.
Labour intensive, but worth it ultimately, right?
Yeah, especially when you've got kids screaming in the other room.
Nice man. Nice man. So listening to some of your tracks in like preparation for today's episode, so I was listening to your album with Serve, so like Scraps from the King's Table, and some of the production on that track line is just kind of otherworldly. It reminded me of like I was walking down the road, headphones in. It was like being in a fucking horror film. But and the opening track, that Metal Faces, got like the Tommy DeVito, like Joe Pesci sample at the beginning.
That's me.
It sets the tone, man.
That's me. I think is my writing is kind of like, sorry, in reference to the sample, like, I always try and have.
Just to clarify, it wasn't you doing it. It was a really good fucking
It's
impression.
not bad.
Uncanny, man.
I always try and get the mafia influence. Or my bars are they kind of come across with these Italian names. Go on.
So you're half Italian, full Italian?
I'm half Sicilian. My dad is Sicilian.
The old country.
He's born here, but his parents are Sicilian. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I grew up around that. But like, you know, my influences are like mafia films and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a bar in one of my songs. It's like, I watched Goodfellas, not Above the Rim, because I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I watched Above the Rim. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I hear you saying that.
But
That wasn't the film. The film was Goodfellas.
I watched Goodfellas.
I hear you, man.
My friend Andy, I watched around Andy's house. We used to watch Goodfellas. We watched all the Godfathers, Carlitos, all the, you know, whatever mafia-ish film. I know Carlitos, he's Puerto Rican, but still. Al Pacino is Italian, so I think. But yeah. So yeah.
One of the tracks I was listening to was Never Golden, right?
Yeah.
Did you use a voice modulator in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, because like your kind of like natural flow and tone of voice is really low anyway. Like it's very distinctive.
Yeah.
So I'll come on to that in a bit. But in this track, one of the bars that you dropped was which made me chuckle, but also like think, what the fuck's he talking about? But I wanted to question you. Was Tears for Harambe, the Silverbacks getting too weird for the fan base.
Yeah.
Dribble and exaggerate the rat race, squeezing a lemon on my pancakes.
Cool.
Relevant because it was pancake day this week.
There you go. Tears for Harambe, the Silverbacks getting too weird for the fan base. I don't know.
I love it, man.
That's the thing though, like, okay, cool. Again, like, it's just like fucking Sean Price shit, do you know what I mean? That's the thing, like, when I was at a point in...
It was only a matter of time until someone mentioned Sean Price.
I was at a point in my writing where I was not going anywhere. It was kind of... It was in Bombs Over Bournemouth, in that mixtape era there, it was something that wasn't happening right. And I heard Onion Head by Sean Price, and I was like, fuck it, mind blowing, this guy like that. And he put me back in where it was, do you know what I mean? So then anything like, so when the way he starts bars like Botswana, and it's just like it comes
just
in
random words.
Yeah, that's what he'll do. That's what he used to do, do you know what I mean?
Rest in peace, Sean Price, man. Legend.
Interesting fact, yeah? Cool. My daughter was born on the 7th of August, right, 2015. I was over the moon, right? Best feeling in the world.
Oh no, I see where this is going.
The 8th of August, Sean Price died. I was fucking fuming.
Yeah.
Right, like, I was gutted.
Same, man.
Yeah.
I remember when it happened, mate. I was just like...
I was fuming.
I was
can you
bumping out
imagine?
random acts for like fucking ages after that.
But can you imagine, the best thing that happened to any human being is having their first child, and I'm fucking buzzing about it. And tiny little baby in my arms, and then I find out Sean Price is died, and I'm heartbroken. I'm just like, it didn't make sense.
So just because these boys are a bit younger and maybe not as exposed to like Helter Skelter and all that kind of stuff, do you want to elaborate who Sean Price is?
Who is Sean Price?
Not for me, man, for these boys.
The thing is, like, back in the day, like, I didn't clock Sean Price. You know who Sean Price is?
I know, I know Sean Price.
None the wiser.
Shotgun The Aux.
Yeah, like, he was in a group called Helter Skelter from back in the day. Have you heard of Duck Down?
Duck Down's
Records, like a record label.
Oh no, yeah, I've had
Heard
that.
Duck Down? Yeah, Duck Down is like a record label run out of New York by Drew Hart, yeah? Drew Hart? Yeah, I'm asking, man. Drew Hart? Yeah.
But they're not.
By Drew Hart. They started off with an album from Buckshot, 5 Foot, the Black Moon, wasn't it? Yeah, they started off with that album. And it was all around from the same area of Brooklyn, like Flatbush and Bushwick and what's the other one? It was a Bed-Stuy or something, but they all came out of the same, that came out of that camp, Smith and Wesson, Helter Skelter,
Boot Camp Click.
Boot Camp Click.
Boot Camp
That was
Click,
the whole,
yeah.
that was the whole group of them. That was the whole fucking lot all stuck in together as one. They even had the tune, a group called Fab Five in it, which was original Gun Clappers.
Yeah.
Fucking, who else was it? Smith and Wesson. All of them. They had all of them. They did one song together in it. They did fucking, what was it? Blah, or what was it called? Oh shit. You'll see it. You can fucking look it up now. Fab Five. You don't even find it. It's called Blah or something like that. It's sick. And they did Le Fleur de Flower as well. Off
The Skolska.
Yeah, Skolska. That was sick as well.
That was just messaging me. I'll just get
that was my jam. That was my hungover jam when I was just drinking.
What was that track called?
Blah, I think. It was Fab Five on Blah. I was like, I like this. I like that. The Helter, the Skelter, the gun, the clap. Yeah, it's that one. That's the video.
That's
the
video. We'll get that one in there.
Yeah, that's a sick tune.
Yeah, Rock and Rock Man. So that was like his, what he was known as, kind of.
Yeah. But they're like
at the same time.
Yeah, they kind of changed. Well, Rock didn't really change his name, Rock, but they're like their road. Well, Rock was his road name, innit?
Yeah.
From he was in a gang called Decepticons, and they used to rob places and rob people and be quite.
Sean Price had bars there, didn't he? It's like I joke, I kid, like I smoke my coke and a cig, you dig? It's like, oh man, Sean Price was such a legend, right? Even when he'd rock up on like Sway in the morning and stuff, and he'd just be like Ninth Wonder be there, and he's just like doesn't give a fuck, does he?
But that's the whole
just
thing.
Raps.
But that's what it should be like. It shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be. But I mean, it shouldn't be an ag to kind of do hip hop. It should just be chilled out things. You know what I mean? Making it is hard as fuck, cool. But like, you know, doing it, it's just chill with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I spent too many fucking times drunk because I was anxious about getting on stage, or you know what I mean. Like this, it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? You need to relax and just fucking
enjoy it, man. That's why you do it, as you say. It's an addiction. You have to do it.
I was reading one of the Tom sent me over one of the interviews he did. I can't remember who it was with.
I think it's Bournemouth. It was like a local one.
Yeah. And there was a bit when they asked you the question. I think this was 2013, was it?
What's this? Wait, starting. Sorry.
I sent.
So it's one of the interviews that you did with.
It was a publication in Bournemouth, I don't know, but it was just like a
Yeah.
Doing our research, man.
One of the questions was what it's like to perform live. I think the answer you gave me was just the fact that, you know, people come out to sort of listen to your music, and just, you know, hearing people respond to what you say is what sort of makes it.
That's the token base. I think now, as an older person who's been about a bit more, I think it's the influence you have. Because someone who's as minor as me, and no one knows me anyway, apart from circles in small areas, you know what I mean? But it's hearing the little stories of people that make a difference now.
Well,
so that's
I was saying, man, I've been listening to your shit since I was 17. So like, to be speaking to you now is quite surreal for me personally. Even though like the microcosm in the grand scheme of things, maybe not.
See what you did there?
Do you see what you did there? Unintended.
But you know, what was it Drake said in the Grammys the other day?
Was that when he got cut out?
Yeah, he got cut out, and he was saying, like, obviously it's Drake, so you got to take it with a pinch of salt. But he was saying how, you know, if you're an artist and you've already sort of won, if people are taking the time to listen to your music and go out and see you.
100%. Yeah. It's just nice, isn't it? Like that's the whole point you do it for. Is just for people to listen.
It's that response, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you spend tireless hours on making an album, and you want this reaction off the album, and sometimes it just falls flat on its ass, and you think, fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get the reaction, and you do contemplate and not fucking bother doing it anymore because, you know, what's the fucking point? But then you have the stories from people that turn around to you and say, yeah, no, I listened to you and you influenced me to rhyme, or I remember seeing, like you just said, I listened to your bars since
mate, it's honestly, man, it's nuts.
It's different like that.
It's surreal.
That makes it, you know, more worthwhile, I think.
Just going on to, so we had Mosick on a couple of weeks ago, and you're on his album The Dots, on that Set It Off track, and he actually mentioned that was your track. Yeah.
And I fucked it up.
Those bars are hard, man.
No, I fucked it up.
What? Fucked it up?
Yeah, I fucked it up. What it was is that.
So it's second. Alright.
He finished it off. It says he finished it off. He completed it. I fucked it up.
I thought it was a sick track.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah.
Like the first verse was good. The last verse was like, it was good, but my delivery was shit.
Man,
and Concise was like, yeah, can you do that? That's not his voice. He was like, yeah, can you just redo that? And I'm thinking, I can't be fucked because it was hard to do in the first place. It was one of them ones where it was really hard to do, and then it was complicated, and I didn't have much time to do it, and I didn't want to do it again. I was being stubborn really, and then it kind of just got slowly pushed to the back burner, and I didn't really know what was happening with it.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I'll put that one down to humility, man, because I thought it was sick. But another bar that I really fucking liked in, I think it was Problems that he sent across, which is the track we just played earlier, was since the baby grow been built like an 80s phone. And now meeting you in person, I can see what the fuck you mean. Cosm is a big dude, he walked through, I was like, damn man, with his posse, he walked through the door. I was just like, yeah, okay, that's...
My little brother's bigger. My little brother's bigger, but yeah. Wordplay, it's just wordplay, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
man,
it makes sense.
It's really dope, man. And listen, if anyone's listening and is keen to hear, then you should definitely check out Cosm stuff, man. It's like it's really layered. It's if you just like rapping, like that's what kind of like attracted me to the music, because I'm a fan of rappers, like you were saying, like a rapper's rapper. So going on from that, who would be your influences, and who are people that you listen to now, purely as a rapper, like?
So who do I listen to?
Who do you like to listen to? Yeah.
At the moment, right. So it's not so much the English guys at the moment. Like I'll listen to Ocean Wisdom because he's entertaining. Okay.
Yeah.
I won't go around listening to Dizzy Rascal, but when I've heard him, obviously like the Ocean Wisdom stuff.
Revan,
and the bits, and the bits that I've heard, the new stuff. What was the new tune he did? We resampled the garage song. What was it called?
Look to you, Jake.
I'm on it.
It's the new one where he's basically looking like he's doing like a pirate radio station in the tower block. That was nice. That was a nice song. Do you know what I mean?
Which song was that?
Dizzy Rascal.
It's something like that garage tune, isn't it? I can't remember what it's fucking called. But anyway, who I listen to?
Quality.
Yeah, it was quality. Yeah, that was quality. Yeah.
Yeah. The song was quality.
Who do I listen to? So my main inspiration, it's gonna sound token, innit? But it's just like Action Bronson.
Oh, actually, you were telling about that earlier.
Rock Marciano.
Yeah.
Like Mo was saying, Griselda, Benny, Westside, Conway.
Westside Gun, man.
Prodigy, Deep.
R.I.P.
Shit.
Shit, man, that was.
That was dead as well. Ill Bill, I like Ill Bill, but he hasn't come out with anything for a little bit. But the thing is, I always refer to my old shit. Do you know what I mean? The old stuff to look.
Did you listen?
Freddie Gibbs as well.
Mate.
Freddie Gibbs, come on.
Pinata with Madlib, man. That album is
Bandana's
ridiculous.
coming
Sick
out
album.
soon as well.
Yeah. That fucking album, mate, is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you listen to Ill Bill and non-fiction, obviously. But, you ever a fan of Heavy Metal Kings? You know, his like collab stuff with Vinnie Paz. Vinnie Paz is quite polarising, isn't he?
I've got it.
Yeah.
And I've listened to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I'm not like.
Because Vinnie Paz obviously has his like Italian ties as well, but he's polarising in a way that is he can get quite, and I'm not dissing him, but quite samey after a while. Like his early stuff's tight, obviously, like some Jello Mind Tricks and that.
What's the one? The tune, the fucking what's it called? The old one. All I have nothing. What's it called?
Yeah, I know. From the Psycho, what the hell, the long.
Psychosocial.
That's a Psychosocial album. I Who Have Nothing. Yeah. Because he was so young in that, man. Like the videos, like real old. Yeah, Just Allah and he's Stoop, man. I reckon he's a really underrated producer.
But so who I listen to at the moment, it's just Rock Marciano. There's that, we were talking in the car as well, there's another geezer called Ito who was on the Soul Assassins album, he did a tune called Duck Sauce and Mugs, and that tune was sick. But he just dropped the collab with Mugs called Hell's Roof. And I want to get into that, but I ain't got enough storage on my phone to fucking download it, so I can't get it at the moment. So that's the next thing. Anyway.
So man, so tell us a bit more about like tonight's set. What's that going to involve? And you brought your boys around tonight as well, didn't you? Want to introduce yourselves, boys? Yeah, big up.
I'm like a bit closer. You might be
so Cosm, man, who have you brought around and introduce yourself?
Go.
I'm G-Man, producer.
So G's a producer for Iron Statue, isn't it? Like he did all the.
Oh man, yeah. Really sick, man.
Rebel, I'm a producer as well. Just supporting him. That's him over there.
Welcome to the podcast, boys.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so there's it's just a link in it as well. Like I live in Windsor, right? But these are all still from Slough, and personally there's nothing going on in Windsor, right? And everything happens like all the music and stuff comes from Slough.
Yeah.
And I think that's just due to just the kind of demographic that it is there and stuff like that. But the music they make there is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so I align myself with them. So, and that's it. And it's only positive things that's going to happen out of it. But yeah,
Nice,
it's
mate.
dope. But yeah,
How long have you guys worked together?
Couple of years, isn't it?
It's been a little while.
It's a
What's the
funny
first tune we did? Was it the first tune, the Iron Statue tune?
Iron Statue,
The
yeah.
first one, the actual tune called Iron Statue, and then Problems maybe.
No, I think it was that Canby tune. What's it called?
The Nice Roller. Yeah. What's it fucking called?
I don't know, it's your tune.
Yeah, I got it. Stone Tablets.
Stone Tablets, that's it.
Stone Tablets.
And then it was Open Your Eyes.
Open your eyes, yeah, man. Well, we'll get to that, man. We'll get to that because Cosm sent those tracks through and a real smooth like female vocal. I asked you, didn't I? I was like, is that a sample?
No, that's LA. Yeah, that's
LA.
That's his link up. Yeah.
Nice, man. So who's she then?
She's a singer. She's performing tonight as well in Manchester.
We asked her
Shit,
to come down, but
Yeah, she does stuff with she does a lot of stuff with a lot of people. I know she's done some stuff with Giallo, Recognise Ali.
yeah.
She's all with them lot.
Nice,
Yeah.
man. Nice, man.
Nice vocal.
But yeah, she's really good. Like she was again was in the car that I heard her vocals over the beat because the beat has always been good. The beat has always been good, right? I heard her vocals over it after I recorded my vocals, and I was like, oh shit, I got to re-record my vocals. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to make that sound special. I want to match.
Exactly, man. And also it's kind of nice to hear because I've listened to your stuff for a while and it's like evolved and gone in different directions. And do you think that's driven by the producers you've worked with and the sound and stuff, or is it just because you've made that conscious decision that you want to try something different?
I think it's different. I think Serbs is different.
Yeah,
but
very different.
For me and G, like I don't know, I think we just have that. We have similar ethics when it comes to making music and sound and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why it makes sense to work together. So I think the sound I know the sound that I want, and I think G provides most that sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And the name Iron Statue, because I heard that bar in, I think it was the Serbs track you mentioned. So is that something that's kind of thematic throughout your tracks, or is it just something that you thought of?
No, that's some Stallone shit. That's some Stallone shit.
Yeah, man, going back to the movies.
That's exactly. Another Italian, that's it. The
Yeah,
Iron
yeah.
Statue at the top steps. I'm still here when the song ends. That's it. That's
Shit, man. So before we wrap up and everything, obviously tonight, supporting Lewis Parker, Verb T. So like, are you gonna hang with those dudes? Are you like familiar with them, or is it kind of just like it's a job for you?
No, I mean I never met Verbs. Lewis Parker, I listened to him. But
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I don't know what he's like as a person. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just here to see like the people that I know. Hook up with the people I know, chill with them.
Sick, man.
If they come up and say, yeah, you was good, then cool, then that's all love and that's it. Do you know what I mean? But
Nice, man.
But yeah, going back to the set list tonight is just gonna be. The first half is gonna be the old stuff. The second half is gonna be the new stuff. So we're gonna do like Metal Mask, Mr. Nobody from the Mr. Nobody album, which I haven't cut. We're gonna do an unincluded Serbs tune that wasn't included on what's it called? Fucking King's Table, Scratch on King's Table, called Oceans on the Sun, which is on YouTube, the little clip video on there. And then what's it called? My favourite song, Never Front. Never Front. That's one of my favourite songs to do live. Apart from, by the sound of things, fucking Open Your Eyes, because Open Your Eyes is, now I've learnt it, I'm like, yeah, nah, this is proper.
Yeah, I love that track, man.
Yeah, so that'll be good to come out tonight.
Again, man, like we watching the Say It Don't Spray It bars that you did like a few years back. Where was that? Because Jake was asking, he was like,
yeah, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, go on, what's you?
I was gonna go Pavilion Car Park. That's what I reckon it was.
No. So I don't even know what it's called now, because the last time I was here, or not the last time I was here, but a couple of times before I was here, it was a car park. Now it's now it's a cinema, and now it's a food restaurant venue. So what's it?
Oh, mate, pitch too. Yeah.
So
all local to Bournemouth.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the BH2 is there. Like it was there. My sister was
Right,
my sister was going away to Australia. She was having a leaving party at what's that? One of the bars around the corner.
So this is basically like where you're playing tonight is right next to it. Like, it's just behind it in that.
Yeah, it's just
it's just behind the nightclub. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that night I said, oh yeah, I'll get. My missus was like, oh, can you put some more car in more time on the car park? I was like, yeah, alright, cool. Little did she know, I phoned up B-Dot from Say It Spread. I said, yeah, we're going to do a video real quick. so we banged out the video in the car.
And it was sick, man. I really like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it was sick.
But so is there anyone, before we wrap up, is there any plugs you want to make? Anyone you want to shout out?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, obviously the album's coming out, so the Iron Statue album, so you need to look out for that. We're going to look into getting some videos done for it. It's just the locals, really, just the locals, and the people that are doing it, do you know what I mean? My phone is ringing. Shut the fuck up. Alright, cool. Yeah, no, you know, so it's just the locals, right? It's just the locals that are doing it, like Raiden, obviously with them Easy Life lot, Side Specific with Beeline, people attached to that, Uncle Mike, you know, Mo all day long.
Yeah, man.
Mo's like, you know, a good friend of mine, do you know what I mean? Like we've done lots of music together, we've done loads of stupid shit together. Like
yeah, he's my boy, man.
He's one of my favourite rappers also, do you know what I mean? And,
big up Mo Sick.
Yeah.
I remember him being not very good and then seeing him, you know, we linked up because he's a friend of a friend. No, sorry, he's a friend of a brother's friend or whatever, right? I went around my mate's brother's house and we was all chatting and then he was there and he was rapping and I was like, shit, I'm a rapper too, so we'll start rapping. So, do you know what I mean? And seeing him at that stage.
Just had to remember that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Seeing him at that stage and then getting to where he is now. It's, you know, I think, and he might even tell you the same thing, I think I turned him on to some of that older hip hop because at that point in time it was all Smack DVDs and Risky Bros and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they was into as young people, wasn't it? But I think I kind of turned him on to the J. Rue and the Primos. And I think, don't hold me to that because he might tell me to fuck off, but you know, yeah. But like I said, Mo all day, Charlie Monkeys, Rayman Wu, Corny, obviously Boogaloo as well. They're always putting us on Rio from, you know, IMR, Gambit and them as well. So
Awesome, man. Oh, it's,
lots of people. Everyone I've ever fucked with over the years from this town, right? Obviously G-Man as well, but all like, you know, from this town, they just keep doing their thing. That's it, just big up. And if I've been an influence, then cool, keep doing your thing.
nice, man. Well, yeah, well, we're all off to the gig tonight as well, man, so we'll be there. We'll be there.
I will shout you out. I will definitely shout you out.
Big up, man. Big up. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. So we've been Shotgun The Aux. Find us at Shotgun The Aux, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Acast. Please like and subscribe. The usual bullshit.
Cool.
Cosm, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. So we're going to play out with another exclusive track from Iron Statue, the upcoming album called Open Your Eyes that we've mentioned before.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to mention about this track?
Shit's dope.
Yeah, check it out, people.
Play it again.
For coming, man.
No worries, man.
Cheers,
Right.
man.
That's a wrap.